Hello everyone, how are you all? Today I decided to try to paint with more intuitions. What I mean is, usually I try to plan out the things or use a reference picture, reference photograph, or reference real subject for painting session, and I tend to paint more in a way of realistic style, or I tend to try to paint even though I want something abstract, and I do love abstract. I end up focusing my energy more onto showing some reality in the picture, but well, that's not necessarily true. I like to paint abstract actually, and that's a dilemma. So that's why uh, today I am trying to get used to paint more with my whims and to just enjoy flow of colors rather than focusing too much energy on getting it shown as a realistic subject, to create that vibe. And that could be one of the most beautiful thing that I like about artworks, to get that vibe, to get that energy, to immerse into that energy. And so that is why today I started a little wild. I just sketched a little of my artwork, just a little, to add a framework. I'm so addicted to add backgrounds, and there are so many artists that I see who do not add backgrounds to the subject. They keep the background clean and white, and that looks so pretty. But I do like to add backgrounds, and so I went in with that blue. And then everything started just collapsing in my head, like, what am I doing over here? Well, so I did complete it with blue and started adding a hint of green as a leaf, because this uh, red and green are the opposite colors on the color wheel, and they look so good together. So that is why I started adding green, more of a green. Usually I just paint on that color scheme basis, like red and green, blue and orange. So I started adding more green and more cooler tones because I thought it will make it look better. But the more I started adding a little darker tones, I was realizing that it was not a good choice, and the rose was looking so beautiful in the white background itself. So I might try to paint with white background or experiment with white background in future in case, or let's see. But at the same time, with me rambling all negative things about this background, when this got right up, I actually started liking it. So here is this funny thing about the watercolors and the cold press paper, that when the colors start getting dried up, they start looking more lighter. And that was how I had actually envisioned in my head before starting out the artwork, that I want the background to look like a sky at the upper side of the background, and it had started looking somehow like that. So I started liking it. So then I thought, oh, okay, I will add some leaves. And uh, this was the thing that I really liked, and nowadays I'm liking actually. I have seen this in many videos, artists using this technique. So what they do is, when they put the washes on the surface paper, at first, very first in the beginning, when they create that vibe and initial layers, they just disperse the colors. Like for example, in the bottom, I know that I want to add leaves at the later stage. So so what they will do is that they will, in the very initial flat washes, they will add just a tiny bit of green over here, over there, at the bottom of the paper. So it will add a nicer light green background at that particular portion. And when it gets dried out, they start adding more darker tones of green onto that particular color onto that. So it creates a beautiful contrast, and even it creates such a subtle contrast, I guess. uh, and that looks so beautiful, that looks elegant, mostly in landscapes or while painting trees or something like that. And that creates a loose structure, not closely bound together, maybe. That's my observation. Okay, I'm not saying something very definite about this. That's just my point of view of looking at the process. So then I went a little wild with the red. I have to agree that, because mm, I wanted my rose to just pop out, you know what I mean. Then this is the most tricky and uh, you know uh, the most intuitive, and the thing which I did like was to add the yellow onto the rose. So I did complete painting my leaves, and at the stage it was looking pretty good. Okay, but uh, but it did not have that energy. It did not have that vibe, in my opinion. The rose was looking too flat. So then I went very wild and started adding the yellow color, and it was a happy mistake. Okay, because it added so much personality to it, and yellow is my favorite color. It makes everything better. And maybe this kind of a favorite color thing kind change over a time, because I'm not so used to color mixing by now, and I want to experiment on that. So my next experiments will be more upon that color mixing kind of a thing. But yeah, at this moment, this made everything better in my eyes, of course. Uh, so, yes, this was the story behind this intuitive artwork, which kind of ended looking fierce as well as elegant, because there is that fierce red, yellow, a vibrant kind of a color scheme to the rose, but yet with the leaves which are so soft and so beautiful, it still manages to keep up with that elegant scheme. And I do like that. Do like that so much, because when an artwork I could think about some kind of a philosophical kind of perspective, I do tend to like it more. So this was the story behind this piece. And thank you so much, guys, for listening. Wish you a wonderful day or night ahead. Take care. Stay safe.